You've been accused of a crime you cannot prove you didn't commit. There's no physical evidence, no reliable witnesses, no scientific investigation, only fear. And in this courtroom, fear matters more than truth. If you deny the accusations, you may be executed. But if you confess, apologize, and accuse others alongside you, you might survive. Would you protect your innocence or save your life with a false confession? This was the horrifying reality of the Salem Witch Trials, one of the most infamous episodes of mass hysteria in colonial America. A moment where religious paranoia, social tension, courtroom corruption, and collective fear combined into a full-scale witch hunt. Welcome to Salem, Massachusetts. 1692, a small Puritan society already living under pressure. To understand how the Salem Witch Trials spiraled into chaos, we first need to understand the world these people lived in. Because Salem village history wasn't just shaped by superstition, it was shaped by survival. The Puritans were Protestant settlers who believed they were building a godly society in the wilderness of colonial America. Their lives revolved around strict Puritan beliefs, religious obedience, and constant fear of sin. This was a fear-driven society. Entertainment was limited, religious extremism was common, and the line between the natural and supernatural barely existed. Puritans genuinely believed the devil actively walked among them. They believed witchcraft accusations were not only possible but necessary to protect society from evil. To them, fear of witchcraft wasn't irrational. It was reality, and Salem was already under enormous stress. Harsh winter conditions had devastated the region. Disease and starvation fear spread through communities. Native American conflicts along the frontier created constant anxiety. French settler conflicts added even more instability. Families were exhausted, communities were divided, and social paranoia was growing beneath the surface. Then came the winter of 1692. Two young girls, Betty Paris and Abigail Williams, suddenly began displaying strange behavior symptoms. They screamed uncontrollably, twisted their bodies into painful shapes, collapsed into violent fits, claimed invisible forces were attacking them. A local physician could find no physical explanation, so the conclusion became spiritual. The girls, according to demonic possession beliefs, were under the influence of an evil force. And once that idea entered Salem, everything changed, because fear spreads faster than facts. Soon, more afflicted girls appeared throughout the village. More accusations emerged, more claims of invisible attacks. This wasn't just panic anymore. This was psychological contagion, a form of collective fear where emotions spread through communities until people begin reinforcing each other's beliefs. Today, psychologists might describe this as groupthink psychology or mob mentality. But in 1692 Salem, Massachusetts, it looked like supernatural terror. And every witch hunt needs targets. The first accused were Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne, and Tituba, an enslaved woman Tituba, living in the Paris household. Notice something important. All three women were outsiders in some way. Sarah Good was poor, homeless, and frequently begged for food. Sarah Osborne had disputes with respected families and rarely attended church. Tituba was an enslaved woman from outside Puritan society entirely. This is how scapegoating often works during moral panic. Communities under stress search for vulnerable people to blame. The Salem accusations weren't random. They followed existing social divisions. At first, Tituba denied involvement, but under pressure, threats, and fear manipulation, she changed her story. She confessed to witchcraft, not because there was evidence, but because confession increased the chances of survival. This is one of the darkest aspects of the Salem Witch Trials. The justice system rewarded coerced confession over truth. Authorities cared less about whether someone was innocent and more about whether they showed repentance. Confess, ask forgiveness, accuse others, and you might live. Deny everything, and you risk execution by hanging. This created a terrifying incentive structure. False testimony multiplied, child accusations gained authority, and public hysteria intensified. The courtroom itself became deeply compromised. The judges accepted spectral evidence testimony claiming someone's spirit or ghost had attacked victims invisibly. Think about how impossible that is to defend against. How do you prove your spirit didn't commit a crime? You can't. That's why the Salem Witch Trials became such a powerful example of judicial injustice and biased justice systems. Evidence no longer mattered. Fear mattered. Many jurors had personal relationships with accusers. Courtroom bias shaped nearly every decision. Compromised jurors destroyed objectivity, and anyone who questioned the process risked becoming suspicious themselves. Judge Nathaniel Saltonstall eventually resigned in protest after recognizing the courtroom corruption surrounding the trials. But by then, the damage was already spreading beyond control. More than 100 people were imprisoned. Families turned against each other. Neighbors accused neighbors. Even children testified against parents. Sarah Good's own young daughter was imprisoned and pressured into giving statements against her mother. Meanwhile, prison deaths increased as overcrowded jails filled with accused witches. Conditions were brutal. Many prisoners became sick before ever receiving trial. Some died chained in freezing cells. And still the executions continued. 14 women and 6 men were eventually killed during the 1692 Salem crisis. Most died by public execution through hanging. These were innocent victims trapped inside a system consumed by irrational beliefs and social manipulation. The tragedy kept expanding because the accusations fed themselves. Every confession validated the panic. Every execution reinforced the fear. Every accusation created more suspicion. This is how mass hysteria escalates. Once a society accepts fear as evidence, reality becomes unstable. Eventually, accusations even reached powerful members of society. And that changed everything. When the colonial governor's own wife became implicated, the danger suddenly became impossible to ignore. The governor intervened. The court using spectral evidence was dissolved. The suspension of trials began. Arrests slowed. Prisoners were gradually released. And just like that, the panic started collapsing. Not because the evidence changed, but because the people in power finally recognized how dangerous the system had become. Today, historians still debate what caused the original symptoms among the afflicted girls. Some support the ergot fungus theory, the idea that contaminated grain caused hallucinations similar to LSD poisoning. Others propose a brain inflammation theory or neurological illness. Some researchers argue the symptoms were driven by trauma, stress, and psychological contagion. But the deeper truth may matter more than the medical explanation. Because whatever began the strange behavior symptoms, society transformed those symptoms into deadly persecution. Adults accepted impossible accusations as fact. Courts abandoned reason. Fear overpowered evidence. And ordinary people became participants in historical injustice. That's why the Salem Witch Trials remain such a powerful, cautionary tale today. Not simply because people believed in witches, but because fear manipulated human perception so completely that innocent people became enemies overnight. The Salem Witch Trials reveal something deeply uncomfortable about human nature. Under enough pressure, social paranoia can override logic, groupthink can silence skepticism, and moral panic can transform neighbors into threats. The terrifying part is that the people involved didn't believe they were evil. Most believed they were protecting society. And that's what makes historical persecution so dangerous. Because abuse of power rarely announces itself as cruelty. It presents itself as safety, as justice, as protection from danger. The Salem Witch Trials were not just about witchcraft accusations. They were about what happens when fear becomes stronger than evidence, when collective fear replaces critical thinking, and when a society values confession over truth. More than 3 centuries later, Salem still stands as a warning from history, a reminder that public hysteria can spread quickly, that courtroom corruption can destroy innocent lives, and that fear-driven societies are capable of terrifying things. Because sometimes, the most dangerous monsters are not supernatural at all. They're the ones created by panic, paranoia, and human belief itself. If you found this story fascinating, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay connected for more deep dives into history's darkest and most extraordinary events.